Alright, so we are going to be watching Advanced, who's playing Sigma on Junkertown. This is Gold 1. I don't know if this is PC or console. A Gold 1 tank. I don't understand how we don't win when we have 10 times more kills. I assume you mean limbs. I 100% understand that the objective of the game is to move the payload and get objectives. What I want to understand is why don't limbs translate into actually winning? What is going on underneath the surface of my gameplay that makes me lose, even when I'm mechanically beating them? I really need to understand this issue. Thank you in advance. I don't know if that was a play on words or not, but okay. Anyway, I've already done a pre-watch this video, so this is the reason why you lose. You go on offense, and your offense is like fine. You end up capping it with like 0 in overtime, something like that, with like basically no time left. The other team completely rolls you when you play defense, just absolutely dominated. Just runs all the way to the end, and then you have a very short amount of time to move the cart in the second round, and you barely move it outside of your spawn, and the other team has like 3 minutes or whatever, and they beat you, right? So in that sense, if you think about it from time perspective, it's not particularly confusing, right? Like you had something, actually let's jump to the end so you see just how bad the situation is. So you're gonna move it on defense, or rather on offense. You're going to move the cart only all the way out to here, and then let's actually see, right? So this is only as far as you moved it, which is barely anything, right? This is like 15 seconds of movement, if that. Then on defense, when defense begins, they have right now 4 minutes to move the cart 15 seconds forward. This is one fight. So they have 4 minutes. If you say that this is roughly a team fight, let's say every 45-ish seconds, you're looking at something like 6 team fights that you'd have to win in a row. In fact, this close to spawn, it's really every 30 seconds, so you have to win something like 8 team fights in a row, consecutively, in order to hold at this point. That's why you lose. Like, there's no way. Like, even though I swapped for you and was playing like a GM tank in gold, I don't think I could consistently hold them like 8 for 8. That's just like not realistic in this situation. That's why you lose, is because it just takes you too long to move the payload, and it doesn't take them as long. All this conversation about elims doesn't matter, right? It fundamentally doesn't matter because that's not the way a game is played. The game is not about elims. It's not about kills. It's not about deaths. It's not about healing. It's not about damage. It's about, did the objective move? And you say you understand that, but it seems like you're pretty bitter that it didn't actually work out that way. So we're going to go through some of your gameplay, and we're going to talk about, hey, why, for example, did you have so little time on offense? Right? Well, you had so little time on offense the second round because you didn't cap fast enough in offense in the first round, and you didn't defend well enough in the first round. So let's kind of go over that real quick right here. And in particular, I'm also going to challenge your assertion that you are quote-unquote mechanically beating them, which is quite a statement to say, and we're going to see whether or not that's true. So you come up forwards, you throw a shield out, doesn't really do a lot. You throw your shield out and basically let it break right away. Again, not really doing a whole lot. You could just play behind the cart here and be totally fine, or just play in front of the cart because they're not actually shooting you. It's fine. I don't know why you stopped shooting right now. Sigma should always be shooting. There's no reason to not shoot. You have no ammo, right? Just keep shooting. Don't throw that rock. That rock doesn't get you any value. Okay? This rock right here, just attack normally. Because this rock is now on a 10-second cooldown, but he's not going to die here. Like, there's no point. Like, you could just attack them and you would do more damage. Your attacks do 110 damage. Rock only does 80. 90? What's it right now? Because I know they're going to nerf it. It's 90 damage now. So it doesn't one-shot anymore. So there's no reason to throw that rock. Okay, that's kind of, we've already seen 2 major issues right now. 1, your shield usage is useless. Number 2, you threw a rock that does nothing for you. Number 3, you're going to grasp right now despite being at full health. Okay, grasp generally should be saved when you're like something like half health or below, and everyone is trying to kill you because you get low. That's when grasp is useful. Right now, everyone just kind of ignores you. See? And then the Sigma honestly could have just popped Nemesis form while you're grasping, but that's fine. Okay, so you wasted grasp, and you wasted rock, and you wasted your shield. So of the 4 things that you have available to you, right? Attack, grasp, shield, and rock, you've wasted 3 of the 4 things. So what I'm looking here is not mechanical domination by any means. I'm looking at a Sigma who doesn't really know how to use their abilities effectively. Right? I'm looking at a Sigma who's like just randomly using their abilities, like pushing them off cooldown, whether or not they're going to provide any value or not. That's a good rock, right? You rocked him out of block. Maybe he could have died there. You get low right now. See, that's like a great situation where grasp would actually be useful. You're 295, 250, 100. Now's a good opportunity to block or grasp right now because the caster could kill you right now, for example. He just misses you. All right, your shield goes down. You're playing really far forward right now, and you're obviously not getting healed. So you should be like, hey, look, something's going on. You should back up. Back up. Great. Zeke grasp saves you here. Great. You should keep chilling. Your shield's super low right now. Your shield's low, right? And your grasp is on cooldown. You should be very careful about how far up you play. And you forget about your shield. You just like kind of let it break back here, which is bad. Go for the rock. Cassidy is good rock. Missed the one shot on him. You see the Anna's low. Good job talking to her. Right, she gets healed. That's fine. Now Sigma's just going to walk on your side. And he's just going to kind of run over you. The big part here is, why don't you get healed? Well, you might have heard, hopefully, if you have a headset on, you might have heard this soldier constantly shooting at your Ana. So all this fighting you're doing up here is irrelevant compared to just dealing with the soldier. So, for example, if you had noticed this earlier at any moment in time, and be like, hey, look, the soldier's flanking. Right? This time you're like, okay, cool, that's weird, because you know you're not getting healed. So something's going on in the back, right? Your supports don't choose to not heal you. Something is distracting them. So the second time the soldier came around, if you came back here and dealt with the soldier, right, and pushed the soldier out completely, then your Ana would be free to heal you, and then you wouldn't just die in front of your card like this. So, could your Zen have dealt with that? Yeah, probably. But also, sometimes you need to help, right? So that is still, I wouldn't say it's like on you in the sense that it's like your mistake, but there's something you could have done about it. So it lies in whatever that gray space is in terms of you could have done something to have prevented your death and you didn't. Whether or not you consider that a quote-unquote mistake or not is up to you, but you could have done something to change the outcome of that fight. You can come out again. So you've already wasted about 1 minute and 18 seconds, right? Starting from the beginning. Time is, let's gate open. Yeah, you wasted 1 minute and 18 seconds right now. Just kind of messing around. You haven't moved the card at all, so you've already lost a quarter of your time. Really, a third of your time. You put this shield out. This shield is not doing anything or helping anybody, so another bad shield. Alright. You grasp again, despite the fact that there's a Ramatra punching you, and grasp does not, in fact, stop punches. You rock the Cassidy. You really should attack the Ramatra, because the Ramatra is like just walking over you and punching you and then goes into your backline and then kills your backline. Like, this is really confusing to me. It's like, I feel like someone told you that you should target squishies, so you just completely ignore the tank. So the tank's like, cool, you're just not going to stop me? I'm just going to walk over here and kill your Kiriko. You know? Like, what? I don't really know what you're doing here. I don't think you know what your job is as Sigma, right? At some point, your job has to be preventing the Ramatra from getting into your backline. Okay? If you choose to let your Ramatra do that, you have to trade. So if Ramatra's going to kill your Kiriko, you have to kill the Ana or the Mercy, right? Or Cassidy even. But is that what happens? No. Like, you're not killing anybody. All you're doing is just walking up the stair doing nothing while your Kiriko dies. This, quite frankly, is why you lose games. You know? You're just not paying attention. You're not doing the right things at the right time. Like, even beyond mechanics, like, the decision making here is really bad. So, I might remind you that you wasted Grasp over here, right? Again, on a Ramatra who's punching you, which is not an absorbable ability. So, you just totally ignore the Ramatra, you leave your Kiriko out to die here. You have no Grasp, okay? And your shield is, I think, already still deployed. Yeah, still deployed back there. You forget about your shield. You come down here. You decide to fight the Cassidy at close range. You don't have a shield available because it's still deployed right now. He gets nanoed. You could use Grasp right now to stay alive, and you don't, and you die. So, I'm not seeing, quote-unquote, mechanically beating them, right? I am in fact seeing the exact opposite, which is I'm seeing a Sigma who doesn't really know how to use their mechanics at all. From my perspective, you just walked into a 3-on-1, right? Maybe 2-on-3, right? We'll call the Ash with you, right? You just walked into a 2-on-3 at point blank without using shield and without having Grasp available, and you missed your 4-6 attacks right there. That's just feeding. This is not mechanically beating them. This is what's called feeding, right? You're just feeding them ult charge repeatedly. So it's now been 2 minutes, okay? The card is still right here, has barely moved at all. All right, now you're going to go forwards. Again, another shield that is not helpful. You're going to do Flux. You should have done a little further back, but that's okay. So right here, you have the opportunity to get a double kill if you just send it into both of the supports right here. If you pop it right now into them, it's going to do 55 damage per shot and then 40 on splash. So that would kill both of them, even through Ana Grenade. I think the Ana would be left with just like a little bit of health. Instead, you decide to miss them. I mean, you miss them. So you're going to miss the double direct. Right? Then when they go down, you don't attack soon enough. Then you Grasp right away, despite being at full health and having injured targets right here. And now you're just chilling as the team just totally ignores you and goes and kills the rest of your team. So, I would like to point out just like how impotent you look as Sigma. And I'm not saying this to be offensive, I'm just like clarifying. There are 4 people right here. You're going to drop into the middle of them, and they're all like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about you. Like, the Cassidy and the Mercy literally just walk by you because you're grasping. And they're like, cool, we'll just kill the rest of your team. Like, this is not what tank gameplay looks like. This is not what tank mechanical dominance looks like, right? This is just you missing shots and not successfully executing on your abilities. Luckily, that Mercy just walks in a straight line for you. You should release your shield right now, which you're not doing. Alright, this Ramattra is a fool and it's going to pop ulti for no reason. You still haven't released your shield. Now you're going to do it. Cool. I don't know why that Cassidy waited so long. Alright, you get slept here. You could have blocked that with shield if you hadn't had shield broken. You go for the Hanzo instead of going for the Ana, which is not so great. So Sigma, for the record, only does about 85 damage per second, and Ana heals for 92 health per second. So Ana can out-heal all of your damage. And it's a lot more consistent that she'll land hits than you will. So you're going to miss the shot right here. Okay, that's fine. You're going to miss the shots on Mercy. Then this rock, though, that miss is really bad. You really should have just saved that and waited for an easier rock opportunity. You're getting pushed over right now, and you feel it. So backing up, I think, is the right call. You only have 60 seconds. I don't know what you're doing right now. So you're going for this flank. I don't know how this Mercy, or rather the Ana, just doesn't notice you here. Like, the attack, okay, I can understand, because you know footsteps, like the attack, up until that point I can understand. But after she got attacked, she should start dodging. She chooses to stand still right now instead of dodging. Then you miss the one-shot kill here, which is the easiest one-shot kill that you will ever get. There is no way to get... The target is already leaned up against the outhouse. This is the easiest one-shot you will literally ever get in Overwatch, okay? This should be a 100% insta-kill. You throw the rock, you point just slightly down, and then you attack. Instead, you target too high, you miss over her head, she gets healed by the Mercy, and now you have no way to kill her. Again, quote-unquote, you said... I'm mechanically beating them. I have yet to see any example of you mechanically beating anybody. I think the only kill you have so far is the Mercy, who just walked in a straight line. You killed the Ramattra, who was very low and popped ulti for no reason. So 2 kills right there is all we've seen so far. I guess you killed the Cassidy too when he ulted in front of your shield. All right, and then you kill this Mercy right now, who for some reason just runs at you, despite being in Valken, could easily have escaped in either way. So the only kills that you can get are when the enemy team act like, quite frankly, idiots. You know, when they stand still or fly in a straight line at you. Those are basically the only kills that you've gotten so far. I don't know why you didn't attack there, right? That should have been an easy one-shot kill. Again, not what I would consider mechanical dominance. Alright, so they're coming through window. You should be spamming window right now. I don't know why you're just jiggling on the cart. You should already be spamming. So up here, you should have been spamming to weaken them on the way in. Because you never know when that weakness might result in them getting one shot coming out the window. So you're going to come through. You're going to flux. I think flux is unnecessary here. So this is going to be a 3-on-4 situation where they're going to take a bunch of damage coming out. Right? This guy already gets dynamited coming out, so the Hanzo's going to die almost instantly. Plus purple, like your team's already done a great job. You do not need flux here. This is a bad flux. Right? Doesn't matter if you get all 3 of them, this is a completely unnecessary flux. Using flux or using ultimates in a one fight is a big mistake. Right? And again, does not reflect, quote unquote, mechanically beating them. I mean, maybe you consider mechanics good, but game sense bad. Maybe we'll give you that. It does not reflect good game sense. Let's put it that way. We're gonna come forwards right now. They've swapped Winston. Right? You rock the shield, which should never happen. You should never use rock to destroy bubbles or shields. You ignore the Winston, which I think is the right call. Again, I think if you had rock right now, this would be easy kills. It's okay aim. Again, rock makes his life much easier. Great. Good rock there. Yep, hit the tracer. Like, if you miss these shots, I don't mind this, right? Like, this is fine. Like, yeah, it happens. It's the easy shots that you gotta land. Again, another rock that's obvious that he's gonna bubble, right? You see the Winston for the first time, he has bubble, right? He's probably gonna bubble this. Do not bubble right now, or do not rock right now, right? Force bubble out first. Then throw rock when you get a chance, right? To get a kill out of it. You should be spamming. You do. They don't really get a contest here. Winston goes on cart. You make the right call, which is to skip the Winston. You should have had the one-shot there on the Cassidy, so you've yet to execute a single one-shot on the Cassidy or any hero, despite having multiple really easy opportunities to do so. It's not like you're rocking people out of the air. So I don't know why you gave up holding the left side, right? You should have been like, look, there are 3 people in the left room. I don't care what's going on in the backline, let my team deal with it. Like, just hold this position right now. You're very lucky at the end of this and get up to contest this. So, you clean up here, moving forwards. Winston go for the backline. Right call. He doesn't have bubble. He doesn't have bubble right now, so you could have killed him, but if you want to go for the Kiriko, I don't mind that. You're fluxing right now for a questionable reason. I feel like this is still a 5-on-4 situation, right? The Tracer's already dead. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have all 5 alive here. I think, and the Winston's already half health. I think you're good, right? And the Kiriko's like almost dead. I don't think this is the right call to flux. You miss her with one directs, but she dies anyway. Miss the rock. Again, right idea, but you had to be left of the pillar. She's going to pick up the Mega in your face and sleep you. You had the opportunity to shield that off, by the way, and you did not, and then you get killed. So I think big thing right here is you just keep forgetting about your shield all the time. Like, you just kind of leave it out and just do your own thing. If you had shield right now, you could pop shield and bubble dance the shield to kill the Ana. And then you never get pulsed here. Slept and pulsed. Coming out again. You have 1 minute and 34 seconds left, by the way, as a time check. Again, you rock first, despite not thinking about, hey, look, they have a Ramatra. Ramatra has a shield. He's probably going to pop shield first. That's what Ramatra does. You should have baited the shield out first and then thrown rock later. So, another wasted shield, or another wasted rock. So, you're going to grasp right now, despite being mostly full health. I think your team really wants you to attack right now, not grasp, right? They want you to attack. You see the Ramatra just ignores you, right? The Ramatra's like, okay, he's shooting. Okay, you grasp, great. He just ignores you and then goes after your backline. Like, this is not what good Sigma play looks like, right? You see where the other team's just ignoring you, then you've done something wrong. The whole point of tank is to force them to look at you and then to have to attack you. You throw rock here, despite the fact that she obviously is going to have Swift Step or Suzu up. You should bait this first before throwing rock. There's no patience, right, to your mechanics. Like, you never think, hey, what do I need to force out first before I can get this kill? You just chuck stuff to chuck stuff. So you end up in actually a pretty good position here. They don't have anything that can really deal with you, which is nice. I think this is an overall nice spot as long as your team can get in. Yeah, Hanzo's here. You throw the shield too far forwards. You grasp right now. You drop, which is a big mistake. You had a strong position up top. You don't pick up the Mega here for some reason. I guess that's generous of you to leave yourself with less health, because I'm sure you won't need that health or anything. You kill the Reaper here. If only you had that extra health right now, you would not be dead. Oh, maybe you'll live. Yeah, you're going to live here. All right, Nano gets popped. Oh, no, you're actually going to die. That Mega would still have made a difference. An extra 250 health right now would make a big difference. Right? The extra 250 right now, you might live. Coming back out again. Ulti is popped. He's low, though. You miss rock. I understand that. There's no real reason for you to walk through this. I don't know why you're doing this. I would have just kept shooting the Ramatra from behind the shield safely and let the timer tick down, you know? Like, the only one he's getting it off of right now is you. Like, if you just stand here, he can't do anything. If he tries to go past, then rock him or whatever. You're solo fluxing the Ramatra. I mean, I guess that works out. I don't think that was a great plan, honestly, and you easily could have died. You do this shield, which does nothing. You should be walking forwards right now with your Tracer. Like, forwards as in, like, here. You should be playing here, trying to get kills. You have shield, right? You have shield, you have a tank, you have full health. Play much more aggressively here. You should be helping your Tracer out. Instead, you let the other team come out, and they're going to be able to contest you as 5. You use Grasp here again, just at a terrible time. Not useful at all for you. You managed to block Signal Rock, though I'm questioning whether or not that was actually intentional. You kill the Hanzo here. This is good. He gets low, I guess, from something else, because you only do 110 damage. You decide to fight the Reaper. Close range, not a good idea. You really need to release shield to let it recharge. Cool. We're rolling. And then you're going to cap this in overtime. So, all in all, not the worst push, not the best push. It's fine, right? You capped it. I think capping it all the way is always a good thing, right? I don't think that's particularly bad. The problem is on defense, you're going to crumple like a wet paper bag. You use Grasp here for no reason. There's literally nobody on your screen. So that's that. I guess for the Pharah, but like, who cares about one rocket? You try to rock her out of the air, which is a terrible idea. So you're not doing anything to stop the cart right now, by the way. So they're just continually taking space. Like, nothing that you do matters if you can't get kills that ultimately result in stopping the cart. Okay? So you've killed the Pharah. Now is the time where you should push aggressively to stop the cart. You really need to stop the cart right now. You decide to attack Zarya with Rock despite the fact that she has Bubble. Again, reflecting the fact that you basically never track or force enemy cooldowns at all. Zarya's dead. You should push forward aggressively. Pharah's going to get rezzed. No problem. I mean, you can still push here, right? They're still down a tank. Just keep pushing. Push, push, push. You are choosing to not deal anything about the turrets that are zapping you from the right, plus the Symmetra. Then you pop Grasp again for no reason. I'm gonna be honest. I think you would be better off if you just didn't have Grasp as an ability. Like basically every single time you use Grasp is wrong, and it cuts down on your damage uptime pretty significantly. So that is a big pain point for you. Again, another example of how you're not baiting Zarya bubbles out before rocking her. Sim's low. You should try to kill her. You're not really trying to kill her, right? Like she comes out. Right here, she's one tappable right now. Okay, just walk into her attack and kill her, right? You have her shielded off from the team. Like, this is your moment to get a kill. Force her to either die here or teleport back. But instead, you try to grasp beam, which doesn't work, by the way. Grasping does not block beams. Sim's gonna get a kill. You rock the Zarya again, which is just charging her up. Your shield, by the way, was not in a position that could help defend your team. Zarya's gonna keep mowing over your team. You're just kind of standing here doing nothing. Another grasp that doesn't really do anything. Again, you're not stopping the Zarya from killing your team, and then they just save you for last and kill you. This is not mechanically beating them. This is doing nothing. This is what doing nothing as a tank looks like. Right? Just going all the way back to high ground. Okay? Starting from here. Yep. Attack, right? You're just attacking the Pharah in the air instead of trying to attack cart or slow down cart at all. Who cares? Alright, from here. Right, Pharah's gonna die. You should push up right now and engage cart. You sort of do. You're feeding Zarya bubble. Okay, Zarya's dead. You should push in. You should push in right now and kill all 4 of these heroes. Okay, this is a 5-on-4. It's your job to push in, kill everybody right now. You decide not to push in, which is really unfortunate. That gives the Zarya time to regroup. Now, they've killed off 2 more. You should push in and kill these final 3. You're playing really defensive instead of trying to push in. You should kill the Symmetra. It's a 5-on-3 right now. Just walk into her and kill her. It's very, very easy to do this. Again, you decide not to be aggressive enough. That allows the 2 in the back to rejoin. Now you've lost 1, right? So now it's a 4-on-5 situation. Wall comes out. You should be playing right side to shield off the Zarya, to allow your Zarya to not kill off your team. You decide not to do that. Instead, you grasp nothing while no one is attacking you. You see how everyone's ignoring you? You're just grasping and looking at the wall. See? Like, what are you looking at right now? There's no one here. The rest of the team just kind of goes on to your backline and kills them, and then you're left here alive. This is what doing nothing on a tank looks like. This is why you lose games. It's because you're not actually doing anything, despite whatever the elims stat says. So, going back to normal speed, you go up on the Zarya. Bubbles, okay, fine, right? She probably doesn't have bubbles, I haven't been tracking it myself. But some missing this is happening here. You hit her, she's gonna have bubble in a second. You grasp, again, grasping does not do anything against beam weapons. Zarya just melts you right now. She honestly just kill you. Forces lamp out by your team, which is really bad. Right? And now you don't have lamp for the next 20 seconds because of your own mistakes against that Zarya. Pharah's being absurdly aggressive right now. What we would call inting. So they're gonna start pushing in low ground, right? Zarya's going up, making space, pushing your team back. What are you doing? Nothing over here. You're harassing the backline as though you're a backline harasser. Just quick tip, you're not good at harassing the backline. Your Sigma is not great at that. He just doesn't do enough damage, and he's not mobile. You try really hard to hit this Mercy. Okay, let's kind of watch this over here, right? So you grasp the Mercy. Okay, double direct, perfect. You should aim for another double direct when she lands hits the ground. She's gonna hit the ground right about here, right? And so she get ready for another double direct when she hits the ground to confirm the kill. Is that what you do? Nope. Decide not even try. Okay, you miss it, right? That was your opportunity to get the kill. You missed the rock. You missed another attack. You put a shield even though no one's attacking you, right? Your Sim has managed to kill 3, which is great, but you have done personally nothing in this fight. You could reset your shield right now to bubble dance. You instead decide not to do that because you're very kind and choose to make this a very easy 1v1, 2v1 situation against the Pharah. Again, just reset your shield, put your shield in front of you, and then bubble dance the shield if you're going to do this. It's not great. Not mechanical dominance here. You come out as Winston, which is actually a pretty good choice here. I don't know why you're not walking to the right side using the Sim wall. that seems questionable. Like, the sim wall's here for a reason, right? Use the sim wall, get in here. If Zarya goes to this side, go back to the other side. Like, you have a wall here for a reason. You just lost 50 health and you pop bubble way too early. You need bubble like out here, not in the choke. Sim wall's already up. Your team needs it to fight on the cart, not to get out of the choke. You're attacking the Zarya, who's maybe gonna die. I say probably not gonna die. I would say typically when a tank is being double supported, they cannot die here. So the Mercy is here and the Ana is probably somewhere, I bet. Yep, Ana's somewhere. So you typically cannot kill tanks in this situation, or kill, quite frankly, anybody in this situation, unless you're like a high burst damage tank. What you should be doing is actually jumping over here and dealing with the sim, right? Dealing with sim, dealing with Ana, anything that's not attacking the tank, and then you end up dying. So they have 4 minutes and 15 seconds left to contest, right? Last point, you should be charging right click right now when you jump up, right? You should just jump up here with right click, land, you're going to do probably like 25-ish damage with the splash, 50 damage with the right click, and if you can get a melee, that's another 30 damage. That's about 105 damage, and you need to zap her down for about 2 more seconds, and then she's dead, assuming nobody else damages her, right? That is good mechanics. Instead, you don't charge right click, and you don't land on high ground, which will allow you to keep zapping her, and you don't get close enough for a melee. So now you've effectively done nothing to this Pharah, who is just going to zap you. She forces out bubble really early. The bubble doesn't do anything to help your team, because your team is still respawning over here, and you've now forced out a valuable cooldown. You can go over here, you get super low, you really need to reset to your team. You do not do a good job resetting to your team. You jump in such a way that the enemy can still see you, which is why you get kind of blown up here. You honestly should have died. It forces out another bad bubble. As a general rule, if you're using bubbles defensively as Winston, you're going to lose the game. If you use bubbles to keep yourself alive / keep your team alive, you will probably lose. Bubbles are not good at that. You're just zapping thin air here. Like, all this zapping, none of this zapping is hitting. You see how you're not getting hit markers? It's because you're too far away. Right? You're just slightly too far away. So, not so good. So, Pharah's managed to get another kill. You're still too far away for most of that zap. You get super low here, and then you die. Yeah, I don't really know. There's just so many things wrong with your Winston play that it's like hard for me to know where to start. Like, make it simple, right? Get bubble, or wait for leap, wait for jump. Jump into the enemy team, put down bubble, zap a backline, then reset, and do that over and over again. Like, what you're doing is just kind of improvising your own particular Winston play, which is not doing anything, right? Like, think about it. Starting from this point, just jump the Pharah. If you need bubble, put bubble down. Instead, you jump below the Pharah and see how you can't zap or do anything. Okay? Then, instead of waiting for another jump, you decide to put bubble down here. Again, notice that you're not doing any damage right now while this bubble is going. You're just zapping thin air. Now you jump when you have no bubble. Okay? Now you start getting targeted, and you're like, wow, a bubble here would be super helpful because that would keep you alive. Then you finally decide to reset. You reset to a really bad spot. You should have gone low ground, back to your supports. You thankfully survive, which is quite lucky. You put down bubble, which again is not going to help you get back into the team. You're not creating any space from this, right? So that's why it's so hard for me to say, like, what could you do differently here? Everything, literally everything you're doing as Winston is wrong right now. So it's, you know, like, really you have to start from like the very beginning and go again. You go D.Va here, who is okay. The problem is the Zarya is already really high charge, so she's gonna melt you. You dive straight at the cart despite the fact that your team is not ready and there's a wall in the way. Like, you're purposely playing on the opposite side of the wall where nobody on your team can help you. You're going to get instantly demeched here. Almost instantly demeched. Oh, here it comes. Yeah, now you get demeched right away, which is even worse than a death, which allows D.Va to get a free grav off. And you can see how the enemy Zarya is just... The enemy tank is just way better than you. You know? Like, from her perspective, this is what she sees. She's just chilling here, okay? Wall's coming up, she reloads, she's at 65 energy, so high energy right now. Oh, the D.Va's coming. Wait, why is she coming on, like, our side of the wall? Like, her team there's 3 teammates over there, and none of them can help you. Okay, I'll just beam you down. Okay, you decide to try to burst kill the sim? No problem, I have bubble here. You didn't even get her that low. She only got down to half. I'm gonna reload, I'm gonna keep beaming you, right? And I demect you. What did you do here as D.Va? Like, in what way was this helping your team win the game? You just went in and instantly got demeched. Like, that's not the way that you play D.Va, right? And she's like, okay, cool. Like, now, like, you also fed all this ult charge to her, which, you know, I guess she didn't really need because she's been holding ult, like, the whole time. So, great. And now it's just easy clean. Like, at this point, there's no hero you could play that's going to change the outcome of this fight. So, that is why they have a 4-minute discrepancy, a 3-minute discrepancy in the times, right? Because they capped at, I think, 250, yeah, basically 259, so both of your teams gamed 1 minute. So from here, like, the game is not really winnable, as I pointed out. Like, it's super, super hard for you to win the game in this situation. They're 3 minutes ahead of you. Like, it's such a huge margin to win here. And if I was Winston, okay, and I saw that there was a Bastion, I would immediately swap. Because what the heck am I going to do against Bastion in a situation where I only have 1 minute and no time to stage? Like, this is not going to work. Right? So you pop Bubble first, which is a mistake. You should just bait out Bastion tank form and then go and jump backline. Is what you need to do here. Right, Bastion form. Okay, this is fine. I mean, you're reloading. I don't know why you're going back. Or you're switching. Okay, switching is fine. I'll take that. I think that's a good idea. You swap to Orisa, which is okay here. Yeah, I think this is fine. Okay, D.Va is okay here too. Okay, you go back to Orisa. Fine, that's fine. Whatever. We can do this. It's doable. All right, you javelin the shield, which is terrible, right? Javelin does very little damage, relatively speaking, unless you slam them into a wall. Every javelin should be aimed to hit somebody into a wall. You stand in range of Sim's beam, which means he's charging up on you. You see the range? You should not be standing here. You should be standing here, just slightly outside of Sim's beam, so she doesn't charge up. Because once Sim charges up, she does 180 damage a second, something like that. Way too much damage. You will just get wrecked. You do a good job eating those double fire strikes. You try to javelin the Bastion. I understand that. That's fine. Okay, Ryan's attacking you, but there's not really a lot that you can do about this. You spin him off of you. That's fine. I would take this opportunity to go in and get the Mega. Right? And just get more health, get an advantage here. You decide not to get the Mega because you're a kind person who does not like health. And you like to feed wins to the other team. Right? Like, you're right here, just get the Mega. Get the Mega, 250 extra health. Like, that gives you a chance. And then from there, like, you only had one fight, partially because it took you so long to switch and go to a real tank. You go in here, still winnable, right? No sim walls up. I mean, sim wall is gonna be really tough. Again, why are you targeting the tank right now? Just kill the backline. This is what D.Va's made for. Yeah, at this point, not much you can do. And of course, on final round defense, you have 4 minutes to block like an incredibly short distance. So like, what advice am I going to give you here? Right? This is clearly impossible. You're going to make the same mistakes as you've been making with sim all game, which is bad shields, bad grasps, bad rocks. Like overall, just not doing the right things at the right times. Okay, so resetting here. You know, I understand that the objective of the game is to move payload and get objectives. What I understand is why don't elims translate to actual winning. I'm actually surprised that you had that many elims. I don't believe that you had 10 times as many elims as the opposing team. Like, I could count them up in this game if I really needed to, but there is no way that the enemy team has, let's say, 5 elims and you have 50 elims. It's just mathematically impossible. There's no way. There's like 0% chance that is true. So I disagree with your statement factually. Right? There's just no possible way that you have 10 times as many elims as them. If you mean final blows, I also disagree with that mathematically. There is no way you have 10 times as many final blows as the opposing team. That's no way. This is not possible. This is literally impossible. So let's kind of go past that, right? Because I don't think that really matters so much. I'm just clarifying that is not the case. It is, at a minimum, a gross exaggeration of the situation, number one. Number two, at least when I watched the video, I expected you to at least be mechanically doing very well, which is something I see. Like, you mechanically perform very well, but there's like 1 or 2 major decisions you mess up, like popping a bad ult or not contesting at the right time, but otherwise you were playing better than the opposing team. That is definitely not what's happening here. You look significantly worse than the opposing team's tank. Like, it doesn't even look close. The opposing team's tank outplays you all game long. Other than, like, one moment where the Ramattra, like, popped ulti for a random reason, like, at first point. Other than that, the enemy tank dominated you on both offense and defense by a really significant margin. So, it's weird for me to see you say, oh, like, I'm mechanically beating them, because I'm seeing no evidence of that. And I feel like I've gone through it in very significant detail that you did not, in fact, mechanically beat them. You missed lots of easy opportunities to get kills. You messed up so many different mechanics. You forgot about shield. You wasted grasp. You wasted rocks, right? You couldn't get kills out of flux. That happened all game long. So I don't really see any sort of like mechanical beatdown that's supposedly happening. You know, and going back to, I really need to understand, quote unquote, this issue. I mean, your issue is you played poorly, right? You played super poorly on defense. You only played okay on offense. And then you had a 3-minute gap that you had to makeup in the last round and you couldn't do it. That's the issue. Anyway, summarizing. One, what to improve on? One, don't use grasp just randomly, right? Use grasp when you're being targeted and you're somewhat low, because then people will be incentivized to attack you. As a general rule for grasp. It's a little more complicated than that, but like we'll stay there. Number two, don't forget about your shield. There's lots of times you just literally forget your shield is out and you don't use it to protect yourself or to bubble dance or anything like that. Any sort of like basic Sigma technique, it doesn't seem like you know how to do that. All it seems like you know how to do is attack and throw rocks. Your rock accuracy is actually pretty good. I think your rock accuracy is fine, right? But don't throw rocks at shields or bubbles. That's a really bad idea. Don't do that. This is a really, really bad idea. It's not worth it. And then finally in Flux, learn how to do one-shot combos with Flux. Super, super important to learn how to do this. You must consistently do this in order to climb, right? Really, really important. Especially important now in the next season that your regular rock combo is going to get nerfed. Beyond that, I would say you also just need to know like what's your job right now. Typically as Sigma, your job is to poke down whoever the frontline team member is, whether that be a tank, a DPS, a support, or whomever. Fight the frontline person and prevent them from advancing. And that's not what you try to do, right? You often ignore the opposing tank to try to kill the squishies, unsuccessfully, I might add, while the tank just kills your entire backline. That's not what you're good at. Sigma is not actually good at getting kills. He does relatively low damage. He's actually the lowest damage tank other than Winston, second lowest at 85 damage per second compared to Winston's 60. So you have the second lowest damage tank in the game. There's no reason for you to be trying to chase kills, racing a 170 damage per second Zarya, right? Or the Ramattra, who only does 80 damage per second, but does it much more consistently than you, because punches are far easier to land than your regular left clicks. So, okay, I will pause there. Oh, also, Winston was a mess. I'm not even going to talk about Winston, but your Winston was a mess. It's not even worth it for me to talk about Winston. I will stop there. I will link materials to my Sigma guide and my Winston guide, and hopefully those will also be helpful to you.